Hi everyone, so this is part 2 of my Renee Rants about Glee video, and I really have to rush this. So, social messages in Glee. Usually it's all very superficial and in your face, and often will be written and delivered in a very obvious way. I think they're afraid of subtlety on the show, which shouldn't really be a criticism given that it is very, it's a song and dance kind of thing, so I mean everything is quite obvious in its own way, I suppose, and I shouldn't be dismissive of the fact that the writers are addressing these relevant social issues. The fact that they could have just, ignored it and said this is just a happy-go-lucky, frivolous, fun piece of fluffy, light entertainment, and it's just escapism, and you watch it for shits and giggles, and we can ignore the fact that it could have some deeper messages woven in there, especially given that the main demographic of the viewership are teens, or young adults, or tweens. But, they chose not to ignore things and picked very relevant issues to try and tackle, particularly in terms of the high school experience in America at the moment. And, props for that. I think that I tend to enjoy it more when it's coming from a side story. For whatever reason, that seems to be afforded a little more credibility, and the writing is slightly more sophisticated and nuanced, maybe because it isn't the central focus and they don't feel they need to jam it down your throat quite as much. I don't know, but examples would be Dave Karofsky's storyline, the fact that that came out of nowhere, for me at least. I'm usually up on spoilers, and yet that had slipped under the radar and I didn't know that it was coming up. So when the gay bullying thing began to be addressed, I was really quite pleasantly surprised by that. And also I love Max Adler's acting, he's fantastic, and I just, I found that to be a lot more sincere and emotionally affecting than certain other things that they'd tried to address in the past. I think they also run into complications because a lot of their serious episodes are heavily advertised, especially if they're going to be centered around a particular music artist or something. So they've had their Gaga episodes, Theatricality and Born This Way. Born This Way especially got a lot of media attention because they got that song early, they got the rights to it, and that was given a lot of attention. I don't think either of the Gaga episodes have been bad per se. I especially like them because they're Kurt-centric episodes. I know a lot of people have issues with Kurt, and that's fine. He's a love or hate character. I just happen to love him because I'm a huge Chris Colfer fan. But, I think also a lot of the episodes where it's focused on the group as a whole, and then within that they try and tackle specific things, they tend to go around in circles with the ideas they're addressing. I mean, we've been there, done that for almost every themed episode that they've had, really, and you feel like you are just treading over old ground again and again, and they can't be bothered to try and explore new things that could come into it and come into play. So it feels like a very tried idea whenever they do that, especially with the group as being misfits and outcasts and things. That also just doesn't seem as effective when you've got a group of incredibly attractive, cool people trying to play outcasts and stuff. It just doesn't, I don't know, you kind of have to laugh about it sometimes. And like, if I was, as good looking and, just socially, at least in a visual aesthetic sense, as acceptable as you guys, I don't think I'd be as an outcast. I don't know, it's kind of hilarious to me. But yeah, they do tend to go around in circles a lot with what they try and discuss and talk about. Characters are often ignored, especially in terms of where the song, who and when the songs are given to people. I'm with the many countless thousands of fans who have been pissed off for ages because characters like Tina and Quinn, and for a long time Mike, because he was considered not to be a singer because he's, specifically a dancer. Also Brittany, all these people who I know now can sing. I especially appreciate Heather Morris because she is a trained dancer and she didn't have experience in singing, and I think she's got so much more vocal potential than they're ever letting be realised on that show, and it really shits me off. But especially people like Jenna Ushwitz, who plays Tina, who has as much Broadway has as many Broadway credits as Lea Michele, and yet of course Rachel has to, I swear it's in her contract that she has to have a song every single friggin' episode, and then they'll go about and think, oh well, we're going to listen to the fans for just this one episode, like the most recent one, which was Hold On to 16, and Rachel's kicked out of the competition, so we'll let these other characters sing, and everyone can be happy and relieved and be like, finally, but you know that it's only going to be for this one episode, and the writers have thought, oh, we'll pat ourselves on the back because we've made the fans happy. We're just doing it this once, you know, don't get used to it. We're going to give every other song to Lea Michele, don't worry. But that's friggin' frustrating, and you want to hear more vocal diversity on the show as well. It's like every song has to be a big belt number, especially if it's for a female character. And, I mean, you know, they've addressed the fact that Quinn is an alto, so give her some friggin' alto songs and let her low, sultry voice come into it. I'm sick of the same kind of thing being perpetuated as being good singing on that show. Especially, and with regards to the guys, everybody is a tenor. Or, unless of course you're Chris Colfer and you're uber talented and you're a countertenor, male soprano. But where are some bass and baritone people? That's why Max Adler has to be allowed to sing. Gosh darn it. So yeah, the singing bothers me. The song selections bother me because I'm not a mainstream, you know, radio top 40 listener. So a lot of the time those songs feel like filler to try and, you know, keep it popular and get the sales up on iTunes and have something kids like so they can listen to it. I'd rather the songs actually related to what's going on, the content of the episode dramatically, and I'm a music theatre fan, so when they do show tunes and they do them effectively and they resonate thematically, then I'm really happy, and it's good to see the cast get challenged vocally in that area, because usually those songs are a bit more substantial than a pop tune. Characters, certain characters are always poorly written. We've discussed Quinn. I think Brittany, back in the day, used to be a very fun, quirky, random girl, and suddenly she's become, like, honest to goodness, mentally disabled, and then you have to question how she's graduating year to year in high school and how any of that works. And so I know logic is not taken into consideration with Glee. It's song and dance. You have to suspend your disbelief. That's the law of the show. But taking, you know, the absence of logic entirely is just taking it too far. And with characters like Brittany, it's upsetting and insulting, and if I was Heather Morris, I'd be majorly pissed off. Also, just seeing that the same characters get focused on all the time, of course, and you never get to see other people. Tina, when is she going to get to have a substantial storyline and some actual dialogue that isn't just, you know, supporting somebody else like Mike all the time? They've got so much talent and they wasted it on the show, that's all. I'm running out of things to say, but that's some more stuff on Glee. I could keep going, I could go for days and days, but let me know what you think, if you've got any questions, if you want me to discuss certain things, if you want to challenge me on ideas I've brought up. Yeah, just let me know. That's me ranting on Glee.